A happy Sunday morning to you guys. Good morning. It's Tim here once again, a view from the South Stands. Coming to you for once not from my man cave, but from the road. I'm currently in a town called Clarenville. It's northeast of St. John's, Newfoundland by about 2 hours. I'm down visiting my family, and I'm actually heading back to Toronto today, and I look forward to seeing many of you this coming Wednesday at the game against the Chicago Fire at BMO Field on the 11th. Those of you, of course, that are still interested in attending another bunch of games where the season is actually strung out. So, I'm pretty bleary-eyed this morning, pretty tired. When games are in the Pacific time zone and I'm in the Newfoundland time zone, that means that the game didn't start until 12:30 Newfoundland time and it didn't finish until 2:30 Newfoundland time, and right now it's 10:30 Newfoundland time. So I haven't had much time to sleep or digest it, but I do have a few thoughts I wanted to share with you this morning that I'll be posting when I get back to Toronto. Last night I think we saw the result of a road team with no depth, none whatsoever, losing to a home team with enough depth and enough quality to overcome losing key players to injury and international duty. Toronto FC had 4 players, well, 3 of them starters, recent starters anyway, away on international duty with the Canadian men's national team, playing a couple of friendlies. Don't really understand the need for players to be away on friendlies, but hey, I get that the new Canadian coach is trying to see what he's got to work with, and I also get that Toronto FC is being as accommodating as they can be to the national program. I think it's pretty fair to say over the 7 years of Toronto FC, I think the team has been a friend to the national program, and I think Montreal and Vancouver, MLS franchises now, I think, can aspire to be as good a friend to the national team program as Toronto FC has been. But hey, that's just my opinion. Both teams had players away. Both teams had players that were key players that weren't part of the game last night. Ryan Johnson, of course, formerly TFC player, and Donovan Ricketts, well-traveled but quality MLS keeper, were away. Will Johnson, surprisingly, was there. I don't really understand how Johnson was there, but Morgan and Becker, and especially Osorio, and especially Henry, were not. But hey, that's just me. So when you've got key players away, starters away at the very least, and when you've got a team that's lost more man games to injury than any other MLS team by a wide margin this year, that's what you see last night. You see, relatively speaking, a relatively strong, organized, and engaged defensive performance early on. I think obviously when that second goal came in from Mike Bustamante, that defensive miscue, then obviously the team packed up shop for the night, and Portland popped in 2 more to lead to that embarrassing scoreline. But if you take a look at the man games lost to injury, let alone all of the churn and turnover on the team, but when you've got, and this is up to September the 1st, so it doesn't include last night's game, where you've got another 4 guys away on international duty and you still got guys injured. But I think these numbers are pretty representative of the season. Toronto FC, up to September the 1st, had lost 563 man games to injuries or suspensions. That is 221 man games more than the league average. The league average this year of games lost to injury and suspension was 342. So that's pretty significant. Add to that the churn, and you get what you reap what you sow. Defensively, the team was strong and organized. Caldwell, I think, is very well worthy of the armband. And as I mentioned early on, Bustamante is obviously wearing the goat ears last night, especially on that back-breaking second goal. Excuse the neighbor pulling out. Now, at the end of the game, Ryan Nelson said that the loss, such as it was not to be attributed to use his phrase, upheaval off the field. I'll take him at his word on that. Obviously, it's been a crazy week with Tim Lewicki Tim Lewicki actually exercising his management muscle, canning Kevin Payne, canning Earl Cochran, Tom Anselmi being forced, I'm guessing, in my opinion, to commit career Harry Carey and take a long walk off a short pier, so he's no longer involved. They're all gone. Ryan Nelson, our coach, obviously has gotten an endorsement from Mr. Lewicki, and in the conference call this week announcing all of these changes, Tim Lewicki basically stated that, you know, Ryan Nelson is going to be the coach of this team for 2014. So I'm still up in the air as to the necessity of getting rid of Kevin Payne. I get that mistakes have been made. I get that some of the choices that were made early on in his tenure, you know, going with a lot of loan players rather than signing players. Some of the moves that he's made have been questionable. Some of the off-field choices that he's made, you know, the get used to it thing and so on, can be questioned as well. And I'll do some of that questioning in this space over the coming days. What I do like about it is I do like the timing of it. I like the fact that Tim Lewicki said, okay, we're going to make a change. We're going to actually give ourselves time to find who we want, to get who we want in place in time, so that, you know, real change for 2013, for 2014 and beyond can be effected. And most importantly, and this is kind of an announcement I think that kind of slid under the radar a little bit, the team has announced that the 2014 seat renewals won't be taking place officially until January. They're going to ask you in the fall, I believe, if you want to keep your season seats, and if you do, well, then you'll reserve them. And then, of course, in January, after some of the changes have been made with a new management structure, we'll be able to see if we want to renew at that point. I also think something that really went under the radar, which, again, I'm encouraged about from a business perspective, is, again, the 2013 and 2012 price freeze is going to continue. So lots of upheaval off the field. More of the same, unfortunately, on it. I'm not as engaged with this team as I was previously. I'll be perfectly candid with you. I'm not staying up too often at 2:30 in the morning to actually do these videos anymore. And I think a lot of that just simply is due to malaise. It's really challenging to try to actually spin and polish that same turd over and over again when you're seeing the same results over and over again. This team has to show its fans, its base of fans, that they get it, that they understand that the next season is probably going to be the most important season in the history of this team. I think their 9 lives are done. They're down to number 9 right now. Ironically, going into season 8, but hey, they've got 9 lives, and they're down to 1. I think they have to get this hiring right. They have to actually make sure that they actually get this done and get it done quickly, so that they can actually show not just the fans and not just the league, but the entire soccer world that this is a city and this is a franchise worthy of success down the road, because you have to build that base in order to sort of get things rolling along. So I'm heading to the airport soon to come back to Toronto, and I'm going to be drinking copious amounts of coffee today. Thank you, Pacific time zone. Anyway, I want to thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful week, and I'll see you back in the space this week after the Chicago game on the 11th. Cheers.